Okay guys, this here is my my video on my bow series and how to make a hickory bow. I'm curving the tips. I've already got this other end curved. I wanted to show you guys it's curved inward this way. And I just did it's deflex tips, so it deflects off the handle. So it's like deflex. Anyway, I've got this clamped on a piece of hoop, angled big metal hoop I found, and I figured it was really good for a bow. And I used these little clamps on it, so I heated this up on the stove real hot. I mean, it's still pretty warm. I just took it off the stove. I just heated it over the stove. I didn't scorch it, but I got it hot enough. I got the wood hot enough you can't touch it. Well, when it came off the stove, anyway, it took me a minute here, and it's cooled off a little bit. But for curved tips on a recurve, you know, curve them yourself, just deflex them just a little bit. See, now I've got it where now I can take it that the limbs are the shape that I want them. You know, the limbs are, and they're both pretty straight. And as soon as this cools off, the clamps are going to come off this. I'm going to finish the handle. The handle's just about there. Just needs a little more meat taken on. It's a little fat still on the top here, and on I need to bevel it. You know, bevel it inward like this way on the back sides. Take some meat off and make this little part here a little deeper right in here in the back of right in the belly of the handle there, right there, right where your thumb goes, because you want that in there. You want a good place for your. When you put your hand in there, you want a good place for your thumb to seat right, so you don't have to hold. So you don't grab the bow like this anyway. You know, when you're shooting, you should be shooting and holding the bow like this with your knuckles at a 45-degree angle. That way, your arm's out of the way. You hold the bow down this way, and guess what? Your elbow sticks out. You know, if you hold the bow properly, like this, you're also not torquing the bow left or right with your fingers like you are. It'd be just like a rifle. When you're shooting a rifle, people stick their finger way up in the trigger and jerk the rifle. They're pulling the rifle. When they pull back, their hand does this shit. You twist in their hand. Use the very tip of your finger, man. You know, the very tip of your finger so you're not jerking. So the same principle set up in the way that you're holding the bow. Of course, you good self-archers should know that anyway, but I'm doing this stuff for beginners. I know all you guys out there that make bows, all you professional bowyers out there, I'm just a, you know, just average guy making my own video on how to make a bow. You know, I'm not trying to promote or anything. I'm just showing people how. I've had people ask how to make video or how to make an ash bow, and I told them to just treat ash just like you do hickory. You peel the bark off of it. When you peel the bark off of the wood, that's the back of your bow right there. When I make this bow here, this is the back of the wood. It's just lightly, it's a little lighter because I've sanded this with 220 sandpaper a little bit. It's a little brighter than this is, but that is the back of the bow. This here is the back of the bow. You don't cut it. After you cut the shape of the limbs out, you don't touch the back of this except with sandpaper, and that's it. And then very lightly at that. You know, just enough to make it smooth because it is a little ripply. But I mean, you know, you take off 1/64 of an inch, you'd be good. Any more than that, I'd say you're playing with fire. But this bow's getting sinew back, so regardless, the bow's not going to break. But as soon as I get this tip off and get it shaped and make sure it's going to hold shape, I'm going to sinew back this and let it sit for at least 3 weeks anyway before I start tillering on it. Let it make sure it's cured real good. 3 weeks is plenty of time for it to set good, because I really want to get this bow tillered. All I got to do is finish the handle out, and it'll be ready for sinew.